It's Saturday the 8th of August, just after 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already warming up here, due to get up to 33 degrees, so I thought I'd come out a bit earlier than I normally do to the East Dunes. It's about 21 degrees I think at the moment, but the moment you feel that sun on you, it feels a lot hotter than that. So I'm just doing a tapered run today, so I'm not doing usual long run, only about 12 or 13 kilometres today, as I'm just 8 days away now from the Ooser Marathon next Sunday, starting off in Turner's Puddle in Dorset. And it kind of centres around Toll Puddle, that area, loops through a number of villages, farming area predominantly, but all on trails. So we'll see how that goes. It's a staggered start because of the coronavirus infections still around. They're at a very low level now, but they're staggering the starts, and you have to wear a mask at the start. You obviously take it off once you start running, and then have to maintain 2 meters. They say, you know, if you can't, there's narrow bit of path, then wait and be courteous to other users of the trails, and then just wait. There's plenty of wider bits of path and areas you can get around people. So we'll see how we go this morning, trying not to get myself injured, like I did a week and a half ago. So it's, as I mentioned before, it's going to get up into the 30s today, 33. Back at home yesterday, London area, it got up to 36 degrees Celsius. But through the next week, expected to cool down quite a lot, and that's what I was worrying about. The marathon in August is not very usual. Of course, it got delayed from March, was when it's normally run, when temperature would have been in the low teens, even into the single digits. So it can be quite a different proposition, or is a different proposition, running in heat. Even what it's forecast to be next weekend, 22 degrees, still got to take it a little bit careful. So that's one consideration for the event next week. The other one is just the running conditions. So I've never been on that course before, don't know it, don't know that part of Dorset. So then you've got to decide, you know, things like, you know, how am I going to pace? You know, when can I run harder? When can I run slower? And then what sort of shoes to wear? Should I go for normal trail shoes? Can I go for road shoes because it's going to be dry and kind of compacted? Or is it messy enough, rocky enough and slippery enough to go for kind of full trail lugged shoes? Now, I've found one video online, of course that was run during March, and it's very flooded. Now the terrain appears to be a lot of kind of woodland and farm land, mainly kind of soil and mud, a lot of flooded areas, but I'm not expecting any of those areas to be flooded this time of year. Not like this. There's the odd farm track that will be like this, kind of grit, solid trails. But when it gets, although I'm running in my trail shoes today, when the conditions get like this and dry, it's less slippery. And I like the cushioning and the stability of my road shoes, so I'll tend to wear those instead because they're more comfortable on long journeys, longer distances. Of course, they won't have that grip if I need it. So that's one toss up between the road shoes and the trail shoes. I'll try and see if I can do a mini recce when I get to the event, at least see what it's like. Because, for example, near the end of the marathon, it all goes to a kind of gorse, kind of heathland, and that can still be boggy in the when it's been very dry. Right. A few other sensible runners out this time of the morning, so that's good to see. So I'll make a decision next weekend on what to wear, and then hydration, really important, and nutrition. Of course, you've got to feed on a marathon, particularly as I'm expecting to probably take 6 hours at least to do that, because there's a lot of climbing involved. I'll take my tailwind mix, but I'll probably pack some of these flexible bottles dry so that when I get to an aid station I can fill them up. I have one full at any one time, but I don't want to start off carrying 2.5 litres of fluid. Yeah, it's 2 kilos that I don't need. So that's my plan. I've got 4 bottles, so I'll just put some powders in, ready to go, and just get them filled up as I need them. And then for other food, there's quite a lot of nutrition actually in the tailwind. I'm gonna the aid stations are going to be limited this year again because of COVID and contact, so they do suggest don't rely on them and take your own food. So I'll probably take some muesli energy bars. I'll take some gels, but I'm getting less keen on gels on longer runs. I much prefer a bit of solid food if I can get it, because I can get all that sort of nutrition through the tailwind anyway. And here we are, a bit of relief under the trees. I'm 3 kilometres in, so I'm just going to head up to the Mirandell in the East Dunes, do a little bit of loop up to near the beach, and then come back and then head home for some breakfast. So we'll see how the Ooser is next weekend. So that's 16th of August. I've got an event lined up then for the next 3 months. So in September, second weekend of September, I've got the Great North Run, normally held starts at Newcastle, Gateshead, and then out to South Shields, half marathon. But this year it's been done as a virtual race. It's interesting how the decisions have been made that London, they've postponed it, but they're going to still run it, but only elite runners. Whereas Newcastle, so you decided to cancel completely but go for this virtual. It's actually free. I mean, you have to pay if you want a medal or anything like that, but there's an app that you put on your phone, so in theory everybody starts at the same official start time. So that's September. October I've got the Clarendon. Last year I did the marathon, the previous 2 years I've done the half marathon. That's another trail event, like the Ooser it starts off in Wiltshire, it starts off at Salisbury. The half marathon starts at Broughton, near the border in Hampshire, and then carries on into Winchester. I'm doing that. It's my running mate Andy, ran the marathon with me last year. He's doing the half this year with his son, and my friend Kenny and I are going to run together. So he's doing his first trail half, so I said encouraged him to do it, and so I said I'd come along with him. And then November got the postponed rather, Leiden Marathon, about 20 kilometres northeast of here. That's a road event, very nice, you get a beer at the end. Very historic town, small city where Vincent van Gogh came from, where Rembrandt came from, etc. Lots of little windmills and country areas. You go through lots of villages. So that's in November. We'll see. Mark Rutte, the Prime Minister for the Netherlands, gave a bit of warning the other day because they're a little concerned, although the infection rates for COVID have been at a low level now for 2 to 3 months. They're worried about people gathering and being complacent, particularly young people, which we saw in the US. And of course, while young people might feel invulnerable to it, they're not. They still, a lot more of those will have very low level symptoms or be asymptomatic, not appearing to show any symptoms, but they're still highly infectious. Of course, they spread it to everybody else, so they don't want to repeat what's happened in the US with the massive infection rates there. So we'll see if that event gets affected, because it's not huge, because it's not a city marathon, but it's big enough. Yeah, so just at halfway point now, run up towards the beach. I'll do this little loop and then head back to the entrance of the dunes and back for breakfast. Well, that was a lot harder than I was expecting. I mean, the temperature's just soared, and a lot of it's, as the sun gets a bit higher, of course, there's just no shade, and there's not a lot here once you get out of the woods at the start of the run. So I guess it's well into the mid-20s, getting higher. At the moment it's only 9:45 in the morning, so it's going to get damn hot. So yeah, I'll head off home in a minute. There is fortunately a public water tap that's provided, so I'll go and get cooled down, have a bit of a drink, and then cycle back. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good, actually, not always physically but mentally, about the run next weekend, which I think, you know, it's that's a lot of the battle, particularly later on in the race. You've got to be mentally right for these long events, particularly when they're taking multiple hours like that one. So yeah, I'm kind of in a strange way looking forward to it, looking forward to seeing Andy, looking forward to seeing my fellow runners, maybe seeing a bit of family as well in between. So yeah, fly back on Tuesday back into London. They haven't resumed the flights back into Southampton yet, but that will happen at the end of this month. Alright, so stay safe everyone, and talk to you. I think the next recording will actually be the Ooser Marathon. Okay, cheers.